Hey Matrix leaders, I'm shooting you a video because there's an activity that I'm gonna hopefully have you guys do in small groups. It's one that I think is gonna work a little bit better in a small group rather than over the big group. So I'm gonna just give you an overview and just help prepare you guys ahead of time so that you're not trying to figure it out on the fly. So just a brief overview, we talked last week about great stories and the gospel being the greatest story ever told. And we're gonna start off that story with God, the G of gospel. And the sentence we're going to be talking about is, here we've got it, God created us to be with him. And this whole conversation is going to be about views that we can have of God, views that lots of people have of God, whether incorrect or correct. But the one that we want to get across is that God wants us to be in relationship with him, and that's how he created us. We're going to look a bit at this term immanent, meaning that God remains with us. He's not just like someone who created us and left us alone, or like Father who had us and then just forgot about us, but God wants to be involved in all of our lives. So this is the activity I'm going to have us do in our small groups. It's part of our small group, not the whole thing, but one portion of it. It's called the my stuff versus God stuff distinction. It's a myth that we're going to break with the students to kind of shake up their worldview. So one thing we're going to have you do is I'm going to have sheets of paper for all the students, and I'm going to have them write down. We're going to talk about competing priorities. So we'll ask them, what are some priorities that you have in your life? Different ones, list off. So maybe school, work, sports, God, family, etc. I have a sheet of paper here that's going to look something kind of like this, and we'll have them write down some of their priorities, top 5. Then we're going to have them write down the amount of, let's see, we're going to have them write down the amount of time that they have, that they spend on each one. And then so maybe school's probably going to have a lot of time, sports going to have some time, God's probably not going to have too much time. Then we're going to go down to the last one and reorder them based on how much time they actually put towards those things. So what I'm expecting students are going to say is they're going to see that school's got a ton of hours, whatever, family's got, well maybe, I don't know, certain things have more hours, and God's maybe got not many hours. And this is, hopefully they're probably going to feel guilty, and it's not meant to be a guilt trip. We're hoping to make them feel guilty so we can break that mindset. Okay, this is the my stuff. We'll have you draw these circles on the board. This is the my stuff mindset, is that I'm in the center. These are all my priorities. I've got work, I've got music, family, sports, friends, etc. God is just another one of my priorities. I'm thinking of all of these as just mine, and God is just a one in the list of my priorities. This is the my stuff mindset. So that would make you feel guilty when you're thinking God's just one piece of my life, one little tiny part. This is the mindset we want them to get, is that everything is actually God's. I am God's. My work is God's. My family's God's. My sport. Everything in my life is God's. And I should not just think that God is one little compartment in all my stuff. But we're hoping to get the mindset of that God should invade everything that you do. That you are not just with God when you are doing quiet time. You're not just with God when you're at youth group. But you can truly have God be a part of your whole life, and he can influence everything because it's all God's. So when students are talking with friends, that's a time where they can be in relationship with God. Every part of their life is in relationship with him. So this is the myth, the my stuff versus God stuff myth that we're hoping to have you guys go through and break down for students. So hopefully that makes sense. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Wednesday.